Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just welcome. You have arrived at the first session of our 4-week mindfulness and well-being series. This is the recorded version of the practice because I want to make sure that it is readily available to participants, but also mindful that sometimes life happens and things get in the way, and just want to be able to make this program more accessible. So if you are viewing this, you've taken on doing it in a self-guided manner, which is wonderful. I would like to invite you to please make sure that you have a glass of water, something to stay hydrated, a pen, a piece of paper, or perhaps you have printed off the workbook that's attached with this, that you are comfortable. Find a nice space, set anything aside that you might find distracting for the next 30 minutes or so, and just really arrive with a sense of open curiosity and excitement. This is the first session. As you can see on your screen, it reads, "No matter where you are right now, you are exactly where you need to be for the next best thing to happen. Even if the next best thing doesn't feel like the best thing as it's happening." So we will channel a little bit more of that. Now that you are able to see a little flow and breakdown for the session, each session is going to be pretty unique. We have added in new elements, and my goal really is to demonstrate that mindfulness is not just sitting still. It is not just meditating, and it is not about just being quiet. It is truly about leaning into what you are feeling, focusing on what is happening in the present moment, and bringing mindfulness and finding ways to bring that into your daily routine. So I'd mentioned I am adding elements of wellness. These are these purpose-driven action tools and key elements that we're going to use to discover a little bit more about what truly beats your heart. We're going to start off this morning with our pillars of the group, because this is a virtual setting and now a recorded version. I just invite you to arrive ready to channel these elements for the sessions, and just then notice as they arrive throughout your days or day-to-day habits until we meet again. Traditionally, I would focus on mindfulness basics, and we will be touching on that throughout. They are embedded, but I want these sessions to really bring meaning and discovery. So I'm going to encourage an inspiration activity that gently nudges you each week to try something new, see what resonates, and then we will wrap up the session just capturing these key elements and a follow-up with a takeaway that I will be sending through email on how you can continue these elements until we meet again next week. So just going through some of our session guidelines. This was attached in the introductory Google document I had sent, just asking you to review them, but I will have them on here and we'll review them throughout the program. But some of these session guidelines, really these are elements that I hope to encourage throughout the next 4 weeks, and really will continue just to try to keep embedding them and drawing your attention as they come up. So just to go quickly through them, the first one is trust. This one is really learning and leading into how to trust our own experiences, own our own feelings, check-ins, and then ultimately trusting that sense of intuition. In mindfulness, we're learning to practice taking responsibility for our judgments, for our reactions, and our energy, but also we're really learning to trust our own being. The second element and pillar is that of non-judging. You're going to hear the words non-judgment throughout these. This is a big one, and I'm genuinely curious how much you start to recognize these moments of judgment as they are happening in your days. Our minds tend to label and categorize things according to what we think are good or bad, And usually, depending on how this makes us feel, or a past experience, or our understanding of something, that's what helped drive our decisions that we make. So this element of non-judgment really helps us to observe what unfolds, but also it includes what our reaction is to that. The third pillar is kindness. You will hear this as I mentioned, we're going to spread this like confetti to ourselves and then to others. What a unique opportunity we have to be the change in mindfulness. So taking each moment and feeling it as it comes, being with it fully, and really giving ourselves kindness and patience to give each experience their time and attention. Balance. I love this one. This, I like to think and plant that visual of those really unique rock formations. Maybe you see them on the side of the highway, or you have seen pictures of them, but they have this super unique balance. They look so offset, and you have no idea how they could possibly be standing upright, and yet there they are. This is sort of the same thing because we're striving to find our own unique balance in all areas of our well-being while managing and being mindful of all the things and roles, elements that we have going on. So this is gifting time and intention to nurture each, knowing that each area of our well-being needs some of that intentional focus, and finding and embracing what balance looks like to us. Beginner's mindset, the fifth pillar. I love this one as well, because whether you are a seasoned mindfulness enthusiast, a beginner, or anywhere in between, this element of beginner's mindset is really for everyone. No moment is the same as any other. And we sometimes let our beliefs about what we think or our experience from something before, they prevent us from seeing things how they really are. How many times do you come across a decision or challenge, and if you've experienced a negative outcome before, your instinct and choice is to say, nope, I'm not going to do that again? Or how many times have we heard, that's a great idea, but we've tried it before and it didn't work. It won't work now. So this mindset just really helps you see everything as it is for the first time, as it's unfolding, but also with the knowledge that you are able just to be brave and pivot and just lean in and try it. The last pillar, respect. I love this one. This is what I usually like to fondly call our Vegas rules of mindfulness. This element is all about saying just enough. Our time is really limited in the live sessions, and I'm mindful not to go over taking too much time, just respectful of everybody arriving. This also has to do with listening respectfully with an openness to multiple perspectives. Each of us is bringing a unique gift and understanding of all sorts of elements. And lastly, what is said in the sessions, especially when they are live, stays in the sessions. We're creating this open opportunity to connect and feel comfortable to share. So any personal shares really need to stay in these sessions. If I am missing any, I would love for you to email and let me know. I do have one more though. Permission to feel. I love this one. Being able to feel and express so many different emotions is what makes the human experience so amazing. It is important to allow yourself to feel all of them. I added this one on its own slide because throughout these sessions or throughout your days, you will always be faced with different feelings or reactions to something. So whether you are channeling that beginner's mindset, nurturing that element of non-judgment, or calling on that pillar of kindness, all of these play a role in truly gifting yourself that permission to feel. There is nothing wrong with being sad or angry or worried or uncertain. Those feelings are what help us learn and grow. So I don't want you to ignore them and bury them or pretend to be fine and happy. when really that is not how you are truly feeling. What I do want is for you to be open and give yourself permission to try to understand why you are feeling that way. And then just gift yourself a moment to let yourself be and sit with it to learn more about it. So, giving yourself permission to fully experience whatever state you might be in is one of the most purifying and gratifying things you can do. So, if you have had a rough day, I invite you to go in your room and even just let yourself have a good cry. You cannot cry forever. If you are brimming with anger, maybe scream into a pillow or write in a letter that you don't even intend to send. You just need a channel to let it out. Find that safe space or safe way to let it all out. But throughout these practices and in your weeks on your own time, I invite you to call on being honest with yourself. Then move on. This part is vital. What you really want to do with those heavy or big feels is you want to exhaust all that negativity so you can bring yourself back to a balanced state of being. And I'm hopeful that these activities and inspirational projects that I have you working on will also help you channel that. Okay, so what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is that act of being fully present and aware of what you are sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or that word judgment. You may think about things that happened yesterday or last week or what's happening tomorrow or even what to make for dinner tonight. Spending too much time planning or problem solving or daydreaming or thinking negative or random thoughts can really, honestly, it's draining. It can also make you more likely to experience those less desired feelings of stress or anxiety, or sometimes if you let them build or keep burying them, it brings on even symptoms of depression. So practicing mindfulness exercises are what is going to help direct your attention away from this kind of thinking and encourage you to start to engage with the world around you in the here and the now. It isn't about trying to shoehorn another wellness trend into your day. I am fully aware that everyone is always promoting self-care of bath bombs and spa days and I don't know, facial masks or getting your nails done, any of those kind of things. So it is not about trying to shoehorn another practice or something, a wellness trend into your day. What it really is and what this is all about is increasing your awareness, being open and curious, and organically noticing how you can encourage mindful moments in your day. I would like to invite you now in your workbook or on a piece of paper that I asked you to grab, if you could, between a scale of 0 to 10, 0 is not even a glimpse of it exists in my world. 10 being, Liz, you and I should switch spots and I'm going to run this program. I would like you to write down how mindful you feel you are on an average day. Giving you a few moments to think about it. An excellent. Now, I want to invite you beside it or underneath it to write down one goal you have for participating in this program or for a number one goal for bringing more mindful moments into your day will be. This goal is, can be something that you're hoping to learn more about or discover within you, or again, just pull from this program. Wellness habits of the week. So I had mentioned I'm going to be cultivating and protecting your well-being because it's deeply personal. Everyone is unique. And what that's going to do is it's going to invite you to check in with yourself regularly and be open to whatever you may be feeling. And what it is going to do is we're going to continue to start to explore. And when we do this, it's going to encourage us to feel more fulfilled and generally just more ease. But for today specifically, our wellness habit is going to be focused on practicing compassion. We're going to be practicing the power of slowing your breath. And I will get into it. We will be practicing the power of your list. You're going to need that. That is why we are starting with this one. So each week, we're going to explore this wellness habit that you can be encouraged to invite more of into your day. And hopefully it will serve you as another helpful tool in sustaining your emotional well-being. This is like that positive driven action. So simple question, how are you? I'd like you to take a moment now, and I want you to write a word that best describes, or an image, how you are feeling right now. Just jot that down on your piece of paper. In this moment, gut reaction. How are you? What would you respond? Next question. Simple yes or no, or just a new reflection. How many of you carve out even 3 solid minutes to just sit and check in? Any of you? What we are going to do today for our breathing practice is we're going to do a 3-minute meditation. This 3-minute breathing space is what I'm going to call it. So unlike meditations or a body scan, this exercise is quick and it's useful to getting a mindfulness practice started. So with meditations and body scan, often thoughts pop up. And you know what? Keeping a quiet and clear head can be a challenge. We are beautifully hardwired to have thoughts coming and going. That was always one of my biggest struggles in the beginning. So this exercise can be a perfect technique for those of you who identify with busy lives and minds. It is broken down into 3 sections, 1 per minute. I'm going to play music softly in between. Here's your gentle reminder that kindness is key, because keeping a quiet mind can be challenging and thoughts are going to pop up. So the idea is not to block those thoughts, but rather to let them come into your mind and then just disappear again as you focus again back on the breath. Just try to observe them. Are you ready? Make any last-minute adjustments. Set anything aside. I know you can do this. And I will see you in 3 minutes. Your first minute is going to be spent answering a very loaded question. So I just want you to start to slow down your breath, stretching your inhales to the count of 5. You can hold it at the top. Lengthened exhale out. Be open and inviting to whatever arrives as you start to ask yourself the question, how am I doing right now? While focusing on the feelings or thoughts and sensations that arise, you are just trying to simply give words or images to how am I doing right now? amazing. Your next minute is going to be spent on just simply keeping awareness of the breath. Breathing at your own pace. Just following the path of where it first enters. Reactions and messages from your body and mind. Just simply slowing down and having that awareness on your breath. And lastly, this last minute is used for an expansion of attention outward from your breath, feeling the ways in which your breathing affects the rest of your body. So I want you to spend this last minute just breathing into spaces, tracing that path of where the breath goes, keeping you present and grounding you in this moment. Excellent job. Few more final deep breaths. Maybe 1 to 3 more. Opening your eyes, coming back into your space. And I'm going to ask you again, how are you really? Sometimes answering that question can invite you to stand still right where you are. Other times your answer might mean moving forward or to where you're not yet. How are you really might even mean or feel like they're only tiny movements. Hopefully, you feel a little bit more rested or a little bit more in tune, having checked in and going beyond that instinctual robotic response of I am fine or okay. This is also very important because sometimes our instinct is to say, I'm busy or overwhelmed. And then that's almost like a signal or permission for our brains to start categorizing and listing all the reasons why we should feel busy or overwhelmed. So hopefully you're a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more ready to continue with this. I love quotes. If you participated in groups with me before, you would know that. And because I had mentioned that one of our wellness habits today is going to be that of compassion, we're going to go over this a little bit. So did you know that compassion actually comes from the Latin word compati, which literally means to suffer with? It's more than just empathy and care. It really, honestly, is the desire to help someone who is suffering and to be able to help that person ease their pain even a little. So compassion and empathy kind of go hand in hand. And it's not just an outward awareness. And that is why I think it is so important to notice that it can be internal. So when you notice your own feelings or your own sufferings and you think about how you can make yourself feel better. Concern really is, though, is how often we truly offer ourselves the same compassion or the same patience or the same positive dialogue that we do for others. So whatever season you are in, don't just try to move on from it. Don't try to stuff it down or dismiss any challenge or fear or grief. I encourage you to sit with it, to learn from it, to feel it, pick it up, and then move with it, offering compassion to yourself. The beauty of this also is that the heavier your feelings, the better chance it can expand your empathy. I think that's really beautiful. Even feelings of fear can inspire that motivation for change. So if you've never considered how your heavy feelings that you experience may very well just be the catalyst for opening up any new experiences that await you or growth opportunities, it brings it and makes it or turns it into this light that makes those heavy feels that much more meaningful. So pain and grief and fear, I want you to know, are not weaknesses. Honestly, they're probably your allies for growth and transformation. And mindfulness is really important because you only really lose time when you wait for those feelings to go away instead of just taking action or just starting to understand them. So offering yourself compassion can be one of the most incredible gifts you can give yourself. And it's from this strong and kind place that we can make a difference in the world around us, in the world within us. So that quote, use your voice for kindness, your ears for compassion, your hands for charity, your mind for truth, and your heart for love. We have gotten to one of my favorite parts. So let's do our inspiration activity. Often we draw our belief when we see something inspiring or hear something motivating, or we see someone that has accomplished something that we also want to accomplish. So we're going to do an activity that asks you to kind of call on just that, those elements of pouring belief. I want you to get comfortable for a moment. And I want you to consider closing your eyes. I'm going to play music for about 30 seconds or so. And while I do this, again, I just want you to slow down your breath. And I want you to consider or start to think of people over the course of your life, whether you have met them or not, watched them on TV, read about them in books, or just witnessed their accomplishments. I just want you to call on people that because of something they have done or said has inspired you, has supported you, or has helped you. I want you to think about and see who arrives, who you consider your mentors. Think about people who have provided you guidance or emotional support or a source of inspiration. So again, we're just going to slow down for 30 seconds. See who arrives. They can be people that you know or don't know. They just need to be people that you admire, who have made an impact on you or your mindset. And go. We'll skip that music part in this recording. Just seeing who arrives, who brings a smile to your face, who has impacted you. Excellent. 10 more seconds. Now open your eyes, pick up your pen, and write the names down of the people that came to mind. It could be 1, it could be 10. Just write their names down on the piece of paper in front of you of all the people you consider your mentors who have inspired something within you or supported you. Excellent. Now we're going to narrow down this list. So however many you wrote down, I would like you to take a look at your list, and I would like you to place a circle around your top 3. Who would you consider the top 3 mentors or sources of inspiration? So of the 7.7 plus billion people of the corners of your mind or in the world, just want you to take a look at your list, because you chose these people as the ones that have inspired you the most. And maybe you even narrowed your list down to 3. So these 3 people, or up to 3 people, are truly the force that beats your heart. And they have helped you see, and you have recognized 3 of them. Let's dive a little deeper and discover why that is. So whether you are using the workbook and you're on this part of the page and you see numbers 1 to 3 written down the side, or if you have a pen and piece of paper, I just want you to write numbers 1, 2, and 3 running down the left-hand side of your paper. And I want you to add the names in no particular order of those people that you narrowed down beside those numbers. This time, I'm going to make the music work. And I want you to spend the next minute, 90 seconds maybe, we will see. And beside each of their names, I want you to write down the reasons why you selected those people, or the qualities that stand out in those people the most, that you admire the most. So we have numbered down the side of our page. We've added the names beside those numbers. And you have been tasked to spend the next 90 seconds just writing beside each individual's name the qualities or why or something, an action that they have done that has inspired you, or they do that inspires you. I will see you in 90 seconds. Do not worry about grammar mistakes. Just let the writing flow. You have about 20 seconds. Excellent job. That was a fast 2 minutes. So now I want you to spend the next 30 seconds, maybe another minute, and I want you to go over what you wrote, and I want you to see if you notice any themes or qualities amongst the people that you listed. So when you're doing this, I want you to just take some moments and underline some common words or qualities amongst them, and just notice what they are. Another minute. See where they're similar. Perfect. Great job again. Now, are you ready for the good stuff? I feel like that's like a real song. I want you to take your pen and I want you to write your name at the top of your page. This inspiration activity is really about leaning into modeling or compassion, and that we are all mirrors for one another. So what this means is that those people that came to mind, and then when I prompted you to find those very special reasons that they inspire you, this is usually because you see or share those same qualities within you. Sometimes they can also be things that are on your mind or things that you are working towards or can't stop thinking about. But the qualities that we see in the people around us are directly related to the traits that already exist in us. So those you feel drawn to, or they truly are just a reflection of your inner self right back at you. And you act as a mirror for them. If I was a betting girl, guaranteed that someone out there has picked your name and would have written qualities down as well. So when you see this beauty or sweetness or light in the soul of another, what you're actually seeing is the goodness that resides in you, which I think is so important, because often we let those first thoughts or self-defeating dialogues interfere or catch us off guard, or, make us retract from moving forward or growing or trying something. So I have one final task. Your name should be written down at the top of your page. I'm going to play the music again for the next 60 seconds. And for those 60 seconds, you are literally going to read back every quality that you underlined or highlighted that you saw in your mentor. But I want you to start start that thought or start reading, starting your sentence with I. Mindfulness is all about the I statements and owning it. Or you can use your first name. So, for example, I am fiercely committed to my mission. Or Liz is fiercely committed to her mission. Fun full circle moment. I always pick my aunt when I do this exercise. So you're going to read back to you with your name present. And all I want you to do is receive it, to seed it. The music is going to play and you're going to just receive this practice of compassion the entire time. I'm going to do it with you. Are you ready? Here we go. 60 seconds. Read it back to you. How did that feel? Everything you wrote down, you wouldn't see otherwise, or if you hadn't taken this moment or joined or pressed play on this recording. But it's in you and it is you. So looking at yourself through your perception of others can be really humbling and eye-opening. What it also does is it starts to cultivate in you those traits and behaviors that you do like and do want to nurture. So be loving and respectful to all people, and you will attract individuals that will love and respect you back. Nurture compassion and empathy, and really just let the goodness you see in others be your mirror. This is your power list for this program and the next 4 weeks and beyond. So if you find yourself in moments that you're feeling those heavy feelings or defeated, or you're looking to channel a really great belief energy before you do something, turn to the list. There is no harm. It is really powerful. In our takeaway, I have even invited you to take this one step further. Often when we generate these elements of kindness or how good it feels, that whole science of gratitude is when we share and acknowledge and recognize others for something they've done or something meaningful that we have taken away or how they've supported us, just a general message of thanks. So when you're done this recording, at some point, I invite you to pick at least one of those people that were on your list and reach out and connect to them. Let them know what the practice was, that they arrived at your mindset, and this is what you wrote about them. And I'm telling you, it will come back to you tenfold with the feelings that you give them. Okay, wrapping it up. Here we go. So this is beautiful. 45 minutes we have spent dedicating to your well-being. We spent 3 minutes of truly checking in and asking how you are really feeling. And when you slow down, you probably got a more honest answer. And of the 7.7 plus billion people, your heart recognized 3 very important people. I know I probably don't even have to tell you this and you've already noticed, but some key accomplishments. You now have a power list. You now have new skills to practice this week. It is all about practice and coming back to the practice. And you now have a group or a new element or a new tool in your toolbox to turn to continue to grow and connect with again next week. I hope that you have enjoyed this first session. I hope that you lean into the workbook, lean into the elements of compassion and sharing and offering yourself and others kindness. And I cannot wait to meet with you again next week. Thank you so much for pressing play. Reach out with any comments or questions. I am always here, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.